Bruh, I just poured my heart out and it wasn't even recording. Well, maybe that's good. Maybe that wasn't supposed to be on the video. It's April 1st, April Fools, shit like that. I gave myself some leeway today. I did one immature thing that it's not really gonna cost me anything, but looking back on it, it was kind of dumb. What am I gonna tell you what I did? No, not really. I just liked something I wasn't supposed to like. You know, it is what it is. Well, it's not is what it is, but I feel like you just haven't learned your lesson at this point. But it wasn't supposed to be a immature or April Fool's jest. It was more of the show that I have grown into a so-called better person. But honestly, it could probably come off as passive-aggressive or manipulation of some sort, because I know how I was before then. But to get back to it, we were supposed to record inside, but Deuce wanted to come outside. Deuce. Damn, yeah. Yeah, my main man. Nevertheless, I come to the I hate saying conclusion, come to reminisce, yada yada yada. Hate saying that. Once a chapter of your life is done, there's no reason to go back on that, because it's not going to change. Maybe further in your life, a reoccurring character, a reoccurring person, or whatever it is might show up later in your life. But those memories, that nostalgic feeling that you had before that, prior to that, will still hold a shackle on your so-called soul or heart, which it did to me. You know, you ever like see or feel this type of feeling with somebody that you thought you would never feel? Emotions are most one of the strongest things ever, right? You love somebody, you love them with your fullest heart. Something happens, they're gone, right? You still love that person some type of degree, but there's a new person in your life that loves you in a way that this couldn't even be explained, but you're not giving them the time of day because you're still stuck on that other person, or you're still stuck on that other version of you. That was me, still is me. But the only reason I got over that was because I was filled with contempt. I was filled with internal hatred. I was filled with so-called pain of so-called betrayal. But, you know, I could sum it up to like, oh, just being young and dumb, yada, 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 right? In my standpoint, I could get over all of it, but it'll still be reoccurring in the back of my mind. And I could give you a breakdown of each what reason why this, in a logical way or emotional way. And, you know, it's still not fathomable to me to understand why, of all the months to pop back up my head, it's now. When, you know, when they're already, their life is still going, you know? Their life is doing good. They don't need you anymore. And they're happy, right? So why now should my brain be like, oh, just thought of that person? Like, isn't that fucked up, bro? Like, I don't know. I don't feel hatred, disdain, pain, or nostalgic. I guess curiosity got the best of my mind, you know, which is so fucking dumb. Nevertheless, the past is the past, and it will never last. So just keep moving forward, I guess. But when you're moving forward, you tend to lose things, right? As you're moving forward, the wind is pushing. Oh, you lost your hat. Oh, you lost your ski cap. You lost your shoe. But so-called salvation is in the future, right? It's in the future. I don't feel that way. I don't know why. I couldn't truly explain it. I feel like we don't have enough words in the Oxford Dictionary for me to put it in a way where it's exponentially easier to understand. But I digress. You know, it's redundant for me to keep on talking about things that won't never change, or shit, having a recurring action of feelings that I never really explain to a certain degree. Right? I never really internalize my feelings to a certain degree, you know? It's always like a joke, like when that one girl breaks your heart, you become spiritual, you go on a workout routine, you do this, that, and the third, right? I didn't do none of that. I sat in my room, or the room that I had here, for damn near 7 months to almost 8 months of trying to figure out what was next, because I was like, okay, fuck all that. I'm gonna get back on my grind. I'm gonna go to that college that offered me for baseball. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go start a new life. And then it hit me. I was like, that's not what I want. It's just a distraction. But either way, you still need a distraction in your life to move on, because if you're still stuck on what was and what isn't, you're gonna be stuck in a place that you don't truly understand. You're gonna be stuck in a place where you're like, damn, what do I do now? You're gonna be so stuck to the point where you're gonna be annoyed, to the point you're gonna be like, damn, why am I like this, you know? And honestly, I'm wondering, truly, I'm wondering, why am I like this? You know? Once you're betrayed, or once you feel betrayed, or once you feel used, you tend to use that pain to put it on other people, right? So it's just trauma stake and traumatic people putting their trauma on others, and it amplifies to the point where it's no way of helping, you know. And I have seen what trauma does to people. I was born off of trauma, which is crazy, right? It pains me to say that it really pains me to say to that I have fully understand, fully took on the path of pseudo redemption, meaning it was fake, it was false. I didn't see what I was doing as redemption. I just seen it as something I wanted to do for the longest, but I was just stuck in school, distracted by bullshit at the time, right? I wasn't seen as the person I am today, because I feel like there was no point of doing this. Mainly the fact there were so many, like, in my mind, if something's already done, I don't want to do it, right? Right? You know, if music already been made, I didn't want to do it. If YouTube was already made, I didn't want to do it, right? So I came to the conclusion, like, if it's already been done, why do it? But then it dawned upon me that if everybody had the same path, wouldn't the answer be the same? Right? I can spew so much bullshit at you, so much psychological, physiological, philosophers, all that, right? But it's mainly common sense, right? But adapt to it, and I feel like saying it, uttering the words out loud, is way better than what you can do by just sitting there and just focusing on what could have been, right? Right? What could have been, you know? And don't get me wrong, I was the same way. I was a liar. I wasn't deceitful, but I was a liar. I used to try to hide my past, hide my legal troubles, how my family was, how impoverished I was, to make me not even a better person, but to make me not stand out. I didn't want to be in anybody's faces. I didn't want to do all that, but it just, I guess, I don't know. I guess deep down I knew that once you start with this so-called persona you make, you're gonna have to call it way through. And now I'm stuck between a hard place. I'm not even stuck between a hard place, but I'm stuck between what I'm trying to be now and what I once was, right? Being a decent human being is not hard. It's being a human being that is understood is what is hard, right? I feel like we misplace our anger, and our anger is publicized to the masses effect, to the point where once you're misunderstood and your hate and your hatred is publicized, you can't change it. You can try to, but they will still remember you as Man, Q, Solitude, that nigga was a funny nigga back in school, yada, yada, yada. He's never been on this type of shit. Whole time, you probably was, you were just too afraid to show it at that moment, right? So they'll put you in a box, right? Who put you in that box, yourself or others, right? And I know it's been slapped across from you all the time, right in the dirt. Don't care about what they said. Their opinions don't matter. Yeah, they don't matter, but you still want the right opinion to make you higher than what you are, right? You know? It's like you still want the attention. You still want the likes. You still want the views. You have that insatiable hunger for not only being seen as somebody who is present in the moment, but being seen as somebody who is way smarter than what they are, right? People have this pseudo intellectualism about them to make them seem posher or better about themselves than what they actually are. How do I know that? Because I was once so-called wisdom. I wear them. But anyway, you know what I meant. So, I can hold off on that for so many longs, but looking back on some of my videos and some of my songs, I'm like, damn, this shit is ass. Well, it's not ass, but I'm like, I can do way better now. Like, some people say if you're not constantly evolving, you're stagnant. You're at a plateau. Nothing has changed, right? I remember a message that was that somebody told me. Well, my a past partner told me. She told me she has changed as a person, right? And I didn't take it serious at the time because we were still off and on arguing, toxic shit like that. I scoffed at it. But looking now, I'm like, I couldn't see the person she was due to the things that I have heard and what I have saw, right? People say actions speak louder than words, which is true, but the things that I was seeing didn't please my eyes at the moment. The things that I was hearing wasn't appeasing to me, but the things that I were feeling physically, right? What I was feeling towards that person was kind of positive, but more on to the point where I was stuck on the physical aspect of that being, of that person, and the emotional distraught that she had for her overloading issues before we met. We connected off of trauma. And we try to stay connected off of lies. That's why that shit didn't fly. That's why that shit didn't last. Right? I could point the finger at you gotta cheat. I can do all that. But the main issue was it was a relationship built off of traumatic issues of the past and lies. And when we were honest, we felt calm. It's the only word I could put it. But moving on from that, Happy April Fools, shit like that. I got three kids on the way. I know. I tried. It just didn't work. I tried. But yeah. Different topic. How y'all boy been? Y'all been doing good? Man. Some April Fool's jokes just be the truth. Like me. I got a couple things that I wanted to hide from the world. On some Drake shit, hiding the kid from the world, but I was hiding my world from the kid or some shit. I think another thing I want to go over was me feeling, not indoctrinated, but me feeling, not obliged, but damn, what is the word? I felt entitled to an explanation. Was I entitled to it? Maybe, maybe not. But I felt entitled to an explanation because, everybody wants to know the MO, what's the motive of a murder or why you did it, Some people said They didn't feel love at the time. Some people said because they wasn't getting treated right. I feel like it's excusatory in some manner of speaking, right? You know, you feel that way, but you're still like, damn. They communicated or they didn't, so they went to go do that. So I feel like the betrayal hurts more than when you find out. So when you see somebody happy that hurted you, you like, damn, where's their karma? It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. I got karma for lots of things. For the criminal past I had, for the lying I had, and was my karma worth it? Was it worth it? Back then, I wasn't really so-called conscious of aware of what I was doing. I was more of doing of the action and the reaction of what it was, you know? You know, the stealing, the fighting, the shooting, the stabbing, all that. Want to be like my so-called biological father, you know? Wanted to be running the show, wanted to be a big dog. It didn't really come to me until later on. That my mistakes hold much power. That's why I call myself a bad person. You know, I say I'm a bad person all the time, you know, and I try to so-called redeem myself, but it's no redeeming of what I've done, you know. I can feed 1,000 homeless people, give them the clothes off my back, and I still will feel like shit. I don't know why. Because I know deep down I still hate myself, right? And I don't want no sympathy, no empathy, no pity from nobody. It's just the hatred was so strong that was the only thing that I could hear. I couldn't drown out the sound, so I filled it with lies to make me feel better about myself, right? The internalized hatred I had for my skin, how I looked, how I sound. I tried to fix it, but it didn't work, you know? It didn't work. I just end up hating myself even more, right? But then, later on, I did meditating. I did the little Buddhist thing. I started meditating, drinking hot water, doing all the chic things, the niche things for it. Did it work? Felt like it was a placebo effect, but it worked, you know? It worked for a little bit. I was less bloated, got a little bit taller. Skin was kind of clear, you know? Hair got longer. Yeah, but I still felt empty. I still felt stuck. No matter how much money I was making, how much debt I paid off, how much everything, I still felt lost, bro, you know? And the music was the only thing keeping me sane. The headphones, once I got them headphones, I was wearing it 24/7. People thought I was autistic or deaf because I had them on. But like, everybody loves music, you know, to drown out the noise. You drown out the noise to fill it in with something else. To soothe your brain, you know? It just, I got a lot of regrets, man. I owe a lot of people an apology, you know? And I tried to apologize so many times, but they didn't want it or they didn't see it. So now I'm getting hold to this so-called stature of being deceitful, which is okay because, you know, I used to love being a deceitful person, especially if I thought you deserve it. My morale, you know, my morality compass was very skewed at the time. If you got me, I wanted to get you back tenfold, which was kind of childish. And I put in so many videos how childish I was, how immature I was, but I was never a bully, you know, not in the the things you think. I was never beating on nobody. I wasn't verbally accosting anybody. You know, you know, I was more on falsely enamored with destruction. You know, you got those niggas that be like, oh, I see red when I fight, and you got this dude that's so hyper focused on the sexual things. You know, I had a lust problem, and when I told my first lover that, she used it against me. At the time, I guess we were young, so it was more seen as a joke than anything. But you know, I was aware enough to see what my issue was, right? But I feel like the fuck, I feel like the adultification of black boys have been so struck down in the black community that it's this boys will be boys type shit. But it's an issue, you know. But at the time, it's not my story to speak, so never mind. But yeah, man, I was scared of girls, but I had an issue with lust, which is crazy. I wasn't no creep though, or I wasn't preying on no girls. The issues came from the issues came from me minding my business. But if I got a little bit of attention, I cranked it up to 10, and that's what ruined me. Honestly, the self-hatred of my looks and the external validation of what I wouldn't say what girls gave me. I wouldn't say females, but what girls gave me is what kept me on that path for so long. Right? I was so enamored with physical contact that I didn't realize that was the issue. I feel like so many boys don't get, I guess, the attention or the physical, emotional connection with their parents. Not saying that I haven't. I don't know why I'm like that. I have a loving biological father. He's still in my life. He's here and there. And I have my biological mother. She's still in my life. You know, even if they're bad or good, you know. Rather to have them and they're bad and not have them at all, you know. Because, you know, there's a moment in time where you can still lay back on them. Not all the time, because they're, you know, emotionally immature on both sides, but, you know. And I feel like that's where my emotionally maturity comes from seeing the error of their ways. But I was spreading so much negativity to the point where I thought, well, if I claim it, maybe people will see me as different. But now that I say it, people just use my videos as evidence of, you said it yourself that you was a piece of shit. So why should I think you changed, right? And those people, I don't try to go back. I don't try to go back because there's no point. Because if you're using my video as evidence and not on me showing that I am trying to change, or, you know, fuck that rebranding shit. No, I'm trying to change. It's more of the fact that there's no point of even trying. What I used to say? What I used to say? Don't try to explain yourself if their point is to misinterpret what you said in the first place. You know? We all just want to be understood. But my next video will just be me in the room playing some beats that I saw or some beats I created. They're not no good shit, I'm not gonna lie. They're like some elementary shit, but we're still trying. So, yeah, I'm gonna try to push this video to maybe, if that 25 minutes or 30, you know. I'm gonna start calling this area the vent station. You know, where you get to vent all your problems or what you can see, because therapy was not needed. My mom tried to take me to family counseling, family therapy, PTSD therapy, enamored stress therapy, all the therapies you think, abuse therapy, imposter syndrome therapy. You would think they'll be all in one. There's family therapy, single therapy, gun violence survivor therapy, losing a loved one therapy, all that, yabba yabba. I'm like, why would I pay to go talk to a white woman about my issues? Not saying that there's a problem because white, but like, why would I pay for that, you know? There's no issue in that. If you go to therapy, it's good. It's just that shit is not for me. I'm not about to vent my issues to a person that don't really give a fuck. And you know what's just crazy? I want to be a therapist. So like, good day. This is Miss Martin, Senior Talent Coordinator from one of the American Premier Model Support Service. I don't know. That might be a scam, gang. I don't trust that modeling shit. Ever since my mom put that in my head, it'd be like, that's how they be doing sex trafficking. That's how they be kidnapping people. Yeah, ever since she put that in my head, I start to think like, I don't know. But yeah, man. Even though I already posted a video called Stick, where it's just a big ass stick. Don't you attack that squirrel? He gonna bite your ass up. Alright, bro. Dude, you better leave that motherfucking squirrel alone. He gonna bite your ass up. But yeah, man. Enough hiding away from my problems or trying to act like they're not there. You know, going head on is pretty stupid too, but that's the only thing I could truly do at this point in time to fix the lies and the mistakes I have made throughout my life and try to go further from now. You know, trying to go further from that. Even though it's going to be hard because most of my problems were from myself and yeah, mostly from myself, but also from some toxic ass shit that I seen from other people and I amplified it, and then it was just pointing fingers at who did it worse. And then financial issues, like I still need like $7 grand for my braces. I need like 300,000 for child support. No, I'm not gonna wish that upon myself, but yeah, I need like $7 grand for my teeth. My mom wants me to be a merchant marine, so I gotta get a twit car and shit like that. Gotta get my license renewed. Gotta get a whole new car. One thing at a time. So, license renewed and braces is main two. I gotta call a DMV today too. So yeah. You 17, 18, you gotta get your license renewed. How you get that shit took in the first place? Mind your business, nigga. I've been driving since I was like 14. I know how to whip. Just not legally. You know what I'm saying? My fault. But yeah. The mailman is here. I wonder if I have enough time to go get the mail while the video is still on. Because I said 30 minutes. And it's like 28 right now. Alright, big bro, we got enough time. We got enough time to get it. I just want to wait until he leaves so dudes don't get hit by the car. God damn, brother. Fuck. Alright, hold on. What the fuck? Shit. This is why you don't get cheap fences, chat. Wooden fences suck. They molt over time. It's been very peaceful today, mainly of the fact because... Calm your ass down. Mainly of the fact because nobody's here. And when nobody home, it's like the most peacefulest thing, bro. I swear. When I got the crib by myself, with this crib by myself, the most peacefulest thing, I swear to God. Alright, it's getting like 20. Hey, where the hell you going, nigga? Dudes, come on. Oh, Lord. Oh, shit. Deuce, let's go. said 30 minutes. All right, bro. It's great talking to y'all boys. Hope y'all stay light, stay blessed, and don't forget to read.